Better evening, Doc. Better evening, classmates. Sir Jerome Trono discussed the development, history, and introduction of the five personality traits. And I, Jonna Crisitapayan, will discuss the gender and cultural differences, behavioral outcomes, limitations, measurements, or interpretation of the big five personality traits. According to Costa, over 23,000 men and women in 26 countries found that gender differences are modest in magnitude, consistent with gender stereotypes, and replicable across cultures. Women reported themselves to be higher in neuroticism, agreeableness, warmth, a facet of extroversion, and openness to feelings compared to men. Men reported themselves to be higher in assertiveness, a facet of extroversion, and openness to ideas. Actions of women in individualistic countries like United States, Germany, Ireland, South Africa, and Australia would be more likely to be attributed to her personality, whereas actions of women in collectivistic countries like Japan, China, Korea, Taiwan, Venezuela, Guatemala, Indonesia, and India would be more likely to be attributed to their compliance with gender role norms. In marriages where one partner scores lower than the other on agreeableness, stability, and openness, there is likely to be marital dissatisfaction. Neuroticism seems to be a risk factor for many health problems including depression, schizophrenia, diabetes, asthma, irritable bowel syndrome, and heart disease. People high in neuroticism are particularly vulnerable to mood disorders such as depression, and low agreeableness has also been linked to higher chances of health problems. There is evidence to suggest that conscientiousness is a protective factor against health diseases. People who score high in conscientiousness have been observed to have better health outcomes and longevity. Because researchers believe that such is due to conscientiousness people having regular and well-structured lives, as well as the impulse control to follow diets, treatment plans, and many others. A high score on conscientiousness predicts better high school and university grades. Contrarily, low agreeableness and low conscientiousness predict juvenile delinquency. Juvenile delinquency is the act of committing a crime at a very young age. Conscientiousness is the strongest predictor of all five traits for job performance. A high score of conscientiousness has been shown to relate to high work performance across all dimensions. The other traits have been shown to predict more specific aspects of job performance. For instance, agreeableness and neuroticism predict better performance in jobs where teamwork is involved. Extraversion is a predictor of leadership, as well as success in sales and management positions. The Big Five personality test includes 50 questions with answers based on a 5-point Likert scale, ranging from disagree to agree. Person answers questions on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 is equal to disagree, 2 slightly disagree, 3 neutral, 4 slightly agree, 5 agree. Each personality type will have a score between 0 to 40. Higher scores equal stronger personality type. Calculate your scores using the specific math string for each personality trait. The numbers in the parentheses are the item numbers. The numbers in the parentheses tell you what score to write on the line. Each of these numbers correlate with a specific item number in the test. For example, when you see 6 in the math string, this is a prompt for you to enter the number on the line that follows this, with a person's answer's choice for item number 6. Be aware that there is addition and subtraction within all of the math strings. Each personality trait will have a score between 0 and 40. Extroversion is the personality trait of seeking fulfillment from sources outside the self or in community. High scores tend to be very social, while low scores prefer to work on their projects alone. Agreeableness A reflects how much individuals adjust their behavior to suit others. High scores are typically polite and like people. Low scorers tend to tell it like it is. Conscientiousness is the personality trait of being honest and hardworking. High scores tend to follow rules and prefer clean homes. Low scorers may be messy and cheat others. Neuroticism Neuroticism is the personality trait of being emotional. High scores tend to have high emotional reactions to stress. They may perceive situations as threatening and be more likely to feel moody, depressed, angry, anxious, and express mood swing. Low scorers tend to be more emotionally stable and less reactive to stress. And the last one is openness to experience. Openness to experience is the personality trait of seeking new experiences and intellectual pursuits. High scores may daydream a lot, enjoy thinking about new and different things, and low scores tend to be very down to earth, more of a here and now thinker. Consequently, it is thought that people with higher scores might be more creative, flexible, curious, and adventurous, whereas people with lower score might tend to enjoy routines, predictability, and structure. The limitations of the Big Five personality. The Big Five was developed to organize personality traits rather than as a comprehensive theory of personality. Therefore, it is more descriptive than explanatory and does not fully account for differences between individuals. It also does not provide a causal reason for human behavior. Although the Big Five has been tested in many countries and its existence is generally supported by findings, there have been some studies that do not support its model. Most previous studies have tested the presence of the Big Five in urbanized literate populations. A study by Gerven was the first to test the validity of the Big Five model in a largely illiterate indigenous population in Bolivia. They administered a 44-item Big Five inventory but found that the participants did not sort the items in consistency with the Big Five traits. And more research in illiterate and non-industrialized populations is needed to clarify such discrepancies. A common criticism also of the Big Five is that each trait is too broad. Although the Big Five is useful in terms of providing a rough overview of personality, more specific traits are required to be of use for predicting outcomes. There is also an argument from psychologists that more than 5 traits are required to encompass the entirety of personality. These are our references. Thank you for listening.